In an undiscernible time period, a Taiwanese boy and his younger sister witnessed the grievous murder of their mother by their own father in the apartment unit. The lasting image of their father's expression after he subjected his wife to gasping her last breath seared into the brain of the boy named Arthur. Arthur and his sister inherited the house, which we later learned that his family had rented before his father finally bought it from the landlord. In Taiwanese context, the house is now classified as stigmatized due to the murder. Arthur, now in his 20s, never considered selling the house, despite sealing off the master bedroom where his parents had stayed in. However, his sister Xingai had chronic cardiac failure and needed urgent heart transplant. Arthur was struggling to make ends meet, as well as having the medical fee ready as an odd-job labourer. He decided to sell his aged inheritance, only for the property agent to tell him to find a correct realtor to sell his tainted abode. This led to Arthur stumbling into a shady establishment known as Yishen, owned by a silver fox by the name of Zheng Guoxiong, or more affectionately known as Brother Xiong. By his side was a humorous assistant Yongren, who from the onset treated Arthur as an irritant, but upon hearing that he might be a prospective client, he flipped his demeanor. Yongren would flip back to the non-likable persona when Ze decided to keep his apartment and instead requested to join the realtor, which specialized in selling properties with a dark history. Brother Xiong enlisted the help of someone working for the funeral parlor who had the first-hand information of where a suicide or a murder had happened, allowing them to make inquiry if the location where a grievous death had happened would be up for sale, which usually needed a lot of cleaning up and cleansing, and convincing both the sellers and, more importantly, the buyers. Unlike Yongren, Arthur had little inhibition, especially dealing with the supernatural, catching the eye of Brother Xiong, who welcomed him to the company. This opened an unconventional career path for the earnest Ze, who wanted to make a living to help with the rising medical bill, ensuring Xingai will be healthy. Haunted House Secrets, or 凶宅专卖店, is a Disney Plus exclusive Chinese language drama series from Taiwan. It comprised of 10 45 minutes long episodes, and from the premise, it reminded me of Korean broadcasting station series known as Sell Your Haunted House from 2021. Having fed continuous stories of haunted houses from Taiwan, I had prior knowledge of the taboo the people on this island nation dealing with these haunted houses, and how the myth was building up with the realtors specialized in selling such houses, allowing them to garner some fame to relate their stories on TV talk shows and even publishing their own books. The 10-episode series was conceived by Lin Pingjun and Ye Jingru, with directing duties shared between Hao Fangwei and Lester Si, who gave us The Bridge Curse and its sequel. From an interview with director Si, the concept came from another popular Korean movie, along with The Gods, The Two Worlds, which delved into superstitions in East Asian context and sufficiently utilized computer-generated images to tell the story of the unexplained. Like a hot-blooded shonen manga series, Arthur would slowly gather companions along the way to help quell the unrest harboring within these houses they sell, and eventually the darkness that will engulf the characters themselves. Brother Xiong and his company will engage the service of spiritual masters Bi Mo Yu and seemingly her grandmother, who was doubling up as a traditional Chinese medical physician and a medium. The pair were enlightened by some higher powers on what would happen to them when Arthur appeared in their lives. When our bumbling hero went on his first haunted house for a cleanup, he was close to be mutilated by a stray chopper that was flung out of nowhere but was saved by Bi. The pair would develop a sort of antagonistic relationship before blossoming to something a bit more affectionate. Thus, popularity with the opposite gender improved further when a pretty girl by the name of Li Jing appeared at the doorstep of the agency one day, proclaiming that she wanted to join the company. Jing's motives were unclear and drew a lot of suspicious glances. Her gentle and understanding demeanor came in helpful when dealing with an aged parents blatantly aggrieved by the suicide of their daughter and refused to budge about selling the house until Jing's intervention. Joining this motley crew of characters was Yongren's estranged wife Wan Yu, a cult by profession, but more about her in a while. In a series that dabbled with afterlife and superstitions, I thought the production team created an atmosphere that would not feel out of place with some of the more eye-catching Taiwan horror features of recent years. It was apparent the writers felt it was too much of a taboo to talk about real religious practices, actual deities, and authentic black magic dabbling, but what they had concocted and presented to the audience was still highly memorable. The key sequence that drew my attention immediately was when Arthur stumbled into a factory's caretaker's living quarter, which was filled to the brim with black magic practicing paraphilia, and when Zhe lost his footing under very limited lighting, his hand went deep into the dark chasm of a suspicious-looking urn-like container, tearing the talisman that was used to ornate the urn. Audience from this part of the world would immediately know something was amiss, yet our protagonist was ignorant with the trouble he was getting himself into. The black magic theme was overarching in various storylines that intertwined into the series, very prominently featured with the climatic end, which was also a piece of nightmarish memory for Zhe with regards to his own parents. Pi and her granny learned their traits from an unorthodox sect, which from the clean, pristine, and modern monastery the religious group operate, it gave off an eerily sterile feel to the organization. Pi was very apprehensive with and indifferent towards the senior known as Xiaoming, and her hunch was not to be ignored. Despite at many junctures, Xiaoming had been crucial to alleviate the tight situations Arthur, Pi, and their cohort were in. The sect also reminded me of the ruthless and malevolent corporate figureheads who was practicing illicit religious affairs in a Taoist temple on the roof of a prominent office skyscraper, and had zero qualms and lacked humanity when slaughtering police officers in one of the many memorable scenes that would never dilute from my memories from Chen Guofu's Devil Vision from 2002. In representing the ghostly entities on screen, the dark, smoky, and translucent was the choice the team went for. It was decent, but far from goosebumps inducing for me. The most effective scare came in this scene, which I will not provide the context with, while seeing a pair of pale, bloodless limbs hanging from the stairwell of the mezzanine of a haunted house will always build the creepiness even when the audience were anticipating to see it. The black, smudge-like figure, conjured through a heinous ritual in the climatic sequence, was yet another memorable computer-generated creation for the series. However, none would take the cake from the frightening duo known as Jing Tong Yu Nu, directly translated as Golden Boy and Jade Girl. This term in the Taoism mythology was used to describe the young attendants of the goddess of mercy. You could see them in many representations of the goddess in temples and many literature. In Haunted House Secrets, Jing Tong Yu Nu was less merciful and pleasant, but a pair of soul reapers as summoned by some incorrigible individuals. Poor Xing Ai, who was warded in the hospital, had the misfortune to cross paths with the pair. The large male entity could be heard dragging the huge metallic chain, something synonymous with the Green Reaper in Chinese mythology, and had an ominous aura as the muscle of the pair, subjecting the souls into submission and imprisoned them in a birdcage he held in his hand. Meanwhile, his female partner was the creepier one, dressed in blood-red gown, something akin to the traditional wedding garb. Yu Nu, in her pale face, was many Chinese people's personification of fear of the supernatural since their childhood. She was always the instigator between the pair and constantly on the back of her male companion, like she was maneuvering her like a mode of transport. The grave encounter between Xing Ai and the pair grievously endangered Ze's sickly sister until Pi came to her rescue. Like all mysteries shrouding this series, the truth will be uncovered. The Chinese title of the series, 凶宅专卖店, refers to a specialty shop that sells haunted houses, succinct and to the point. The English title, though, signified the storytelling that propped up the series for me. Every single character in the series harbored a secret. The writers ingeniously masked the actual ongoings in the subplots as a classic haunted investigation and urban legends I had been fed with, until we realized the motives of the various characters that were tied up with how things transpired from the actions of these characters. Even the tragic childhood trauma that Arthur suffered was more than meet the eyes, with regards to who was truly responsible and what was the root cause of the family fractures. From topics like school bullying, to a victim of a horrible crime refusing to cross over after a death, to losing an entire family, leading one down the path of irreprehensible actions. These were nothing foreign to audiences from this part of the world, even could be well related from audiences internationally. Yet I love how these storylines supplemented the main frame of the series with regards with the haunted houses the characters had to hustle to sell. Even with regards to selling stigmatized properties, the writers also used some well-known cases like an apartment with a curse of seeing its occupants serially killing themselves, or one house that saw the cold-blooded parents ending the lives of their 4 children for insurance payment to pay off an insurmountable debt they have incurred, to put people like myself wrapped in the stories from the beginning to the final episode. Now back to Yongren and Wan Yu. The loving couple became estranged because of an unfortunate miscarriage. In the grand scheme of things, this incident paled in comparison to the misfortunes of other characters, but it did allow the couple to provide objective views to things and served as audience conduits to some extent, even helping to facilitate the progression of the climatic end to the story arc involving brothers Yong, conveniently working in the part that Wan Yu's role as a police detective had the resources to aid in their causes and gave her the impetus to find the truth behind it all. From the moment Zhe and Pi met, Granny Pi already highlighted the fact that the pair was destined to be together. The burgeoning romance between the pair was nothing to holler about, yet I like how the relationship had fostered, and you could feel the pain from what had happened in the end as the inevitable happened. It was apparent a second season was on the cards, and things seemed too convenient to tell the tale of a mastermind creating every single fracas we have seen throughout the series. This was a sticking point for me in an otherwise solid story the creative team had concocted. I was not well versed with Taiwanese acting celebrities, but I do feel a sense of pride to see Singapore-based actors representing in this TV series that was already gaining traction in Taiwan, and with Disney Plus, it might have more eyes on it when it was due to release internationally. We have Christopher Lee, no, not Saruman, in the role of Brother Xiong. Lee, likely the most celebrated actor from Singapore in the last 10 years, especially with his foresight to flex his acting skills in the bigger markets like Taiwan and mainland China. I had not been catching up with his rejuvenated acting career, but from that one scene that he was tortured with the misfortunes befell on his family, made me sit up and truly appreciated his performance, highlighting the level of acting skills he had grind and clawed to improve over the years. We also have Hong Hui Fang in the role of Granny B. Hong, an actress who started in our local TV station in the 1980s, was cast in some award-winning local movies and had become a bona fide actress to count upon either on the big screen or the smaller one. Young actors like Fendi Fan as Zhe and Buffy Chen as Pi were not too shoddy in their performances, which was crucial for me to stay invested through their ordeals. In conclusion, I have tons of fun marathoning through the 10 episodes on Disney Plus within 2 days during the Lunar Year break. Do keep a lookout once the English subtitles were done and it rolled out to the rest of the world. A TV series that explored the world of selling haunted houses, going into the urban legends, skirting on the religious aspects and the taboos without diminishing the authenticity of the plot elements, tying up backstories of individual characters, leaving no stone unturned, with decent production quality and boasted by strong performances in a show that did not overstay its welcome. It was blatant I enjoyed the first season of Haunted House Secrets. This is a 9 out of 10 for me. Doing review for a TV series can be quite a hefty undertaking for me, but when a series like Haunted House Secrets or Welcome to Derry had come along, the enthusiasm shines through, so please give me a like and share my enthusiasm if you can. Don't forget to subscribe if you were led here by the YouTube algorithm and had enjoyed what you have seen. The double review of Ryan Prowse, Night Patrol and Colum Eastwood's The Morrigan was supplemented with KK looking through Justin Long's involvement in horror movies. Go seek it out. I do have the KBS series Sell My Haunted House. Are there any fans of that series? Perhaps you can give me a heads up if I should do a review of that drama series as well.